Before we start, we have a crowd tonight. I'd like to remind folks that maybe they take a look at their phones. There's always someone that forgets, it seems. With a group this large, please watch the time as you're making your presentation. Now we'll have public comment for items that are not on the agenda. Amit Sandhu, followed by Donna Soppeland.
Good evening, Amrit Sandhu, Stonelake resident and a healthcare provider, and I'm here today once again to oppose the hospital that CNU is proposing to build in our community. I just want to bring some points for you guys to consider when it does come onto the agenda. With us being here at City Hall today, just for reference, if someone were to code or have a heart attack right now and we were to call 911, Kaiser South Sacramento is 4.8 miles. Methodist Hospital is 4.4 miles, and the CNU Hospital in Stonelake would be 5.8 miles. Ambulances are required to take you to the closest hospital. Majority of Elk Grove is east of Stonelake. There's nothing but ducks and cows out by where we are. And if Dignity builds their proposed hospital, that'll be less than a mile from here. So I just want to say that, we've heard a lot about how Elk Grove really, really needs this hospital. We need it here in Elk Grove to serve the Elk Grove community. But I think when we look at the actual demographics and geographics of our town, we're pretty well served, and we also have a hospital on the books by Dignity. And I know Dignity doesn't have plans to build it right now, but they're much further along in the process than CNU is. Also want to bring to your attention, CNU is asking to build anywhere from a 7 to 13-story building. Each time in the news it comes out a different height with a 55-foot dome on it. So that would put it at a 255 feet. And if you drive around Elk Grove, and please correct me, I haven't seen anything more than 4 stories in Elk Grove. The Dignity Hospital was approved to build a 6-story hospital in 3 phases with 330 beds. That's more than adequate for our needs here in Elk Grove, especially when the hospitals that already are serving are not at capacity. They initially put in for a 4-story hospital with 106 beds. That's the first phase. That's for Dignity. When Sutter put in their plan, they asked for a 2 to 3-story building with 40 acute care beds, 3 ORs, and 4 labor and delivery rooms. That's a very small hospital. So we've got 2 major healthcare plans who were looking to build hospitals here in Elk Grove, and they're not looking to build 13-story hospitals. And both of these, per the city website, did ask for helipads as well. So I just want to bring that to the attention of, we're just hoping that if we're really going to build a hospital in Elk Grove, it really needs to serve the community and be in a place where the community can access medical care. And I'm not sure that, a 10-minute drive, or actually, when you Google map it, it's 20 minutes from here to Stonelake. I don't know that that is going to serve our community. We have Galt, we have Dillard, and all the Wilton area that also needs care when they have to come all the way out here. So they're not going to drive by these 2 local hospitals in town.
I'm going to have to ask you to
to go over to Stonelake. So I would like you to just consider that when you guys are looking for rezoning for this hospital, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Donna Soppeland, I would hope. Thank you. Followed by Jan Schminley. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Donna Sopland. I live at Heritage Lakeside, which is a 55-plus active adult community right off of Harbor Point and Elk Grove Boulevard. And I oppose the plans for the California North State University Hospital. I believe the plans will be out of character and ruin the character of the surrounding neighborhood properties. It will dominate the area with massive structures causing a loss of privacy in many of the residences, including Stonelake, Lakeside, and Heritage Lakeside. There will be a loss of outlook, increase in noise from traffic generation, and parking issue disturbances. It also will have an effect on the nature conservation and the Pacific Flyway. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about my handwriting. I'm Jan Smutney Jones. I live in the Stonelake community. I've been there for 17 years. We were one of the first families in there. And we had a fairly rude surprise come our way during the Christmas holidays when we were told there was going to be a massive new trauma level 2 hospital built in what is a very quiet neighborhood neighboring a bird preserve. I couldn't tell from today's agenda because there were some general changes that were being made, and we wanted to be sure that I would object to any new rezoning of the Stonelake landing area or anything on West Terran that would allow for a 13th-story structure followed by 5-story dorms, 4-story parking structures in what is a quiet community. Part of what I read in terms of the general plan and everything is the preservation of quiet communities that support local business. This is going to destroy a quiet community and basically really rip out the local businesses. And we think it's totally inappropriate for what at least those of us who bought in Elk Grove for some time now believed was going to happen. There was never any evidence that we were going to be faced with a trauma center and all the drama that may come with it. As one of my neighbors pointed out, we are not anti-hospital, but this is a weird place to put a hospital because it's not close to anything. West Elk Grove maybe, but you have to go 5 miles north to run into South Sacramento. You have to drive almost 15 to 20 miles south to run into Western Lodi, and if you go west, there's nothing but ducks who may need a trauma center some certain times of year, but generally this is not a good place for a hospital, and it will destroy our community. So we just want to put it out there that we're looking at this. We are worried that this may turn into another failed development. We don't want to see those local businesses destroyed, and then this thing turning into something like we experienced with the Ghost Mall. So we just want to be on record tonight that we are going to be watching for this, and we really would like the Planning Commission to oppose any changes in zoning laws that would allow this development to go forward. Thank you.
Mr. Stelling, followed by Lynn Wheat.
Thank you very much for your time. I'm Jason Stelling, Stonelake resident for 10 years now, and I moved there from Sacramento just for the better schools, quieter neighborhood, just quality of life, and I wanted to keep it that way. And I'm thinking of the hospital does not need to be where the school is. Look at UC Davis. School's in Davis, med center's in Oak Park. They're fine. It's a very successful situation there. Just talk to your, I wish you would, if the city manager, I don't know, someone get a message to him or the mayor and their friends at the CNU and find a different location for this. Save us all some trouble, please. Thank you.
Lynn, followed by Kathy England.
Good evening, Commissioners. I like your new titles. Your name tags didn't get up there this evening.
Oh.
So tonight you're
Who am
Mayor
I?
Steve Lee.
Am I?
And I'm Stephanie, right?
Yes. So I'm going to take us back a few years. This is the last time I'll probably wear this citizen planner badge. And I'm going to take us back to 2006. And I've been going at land use issues within our town since we became a city. And at that particular time, there was a project called Ventara Park. And that project was approved by both the planning commissioners and our city council. And I submitted a letter to the editor, and I would like to read parts of that, and I will tie it into what I'm going to bring to today. The City Council approved the Ventara Park project despite citizens' input against this particular project. Should any of the citizens be surprised by the outcome? Probably not, since it appears the city officials continue to disregard the concerns of citizens within the community. I find it interesting to read other individuals have begun referring to the city council and city government by something else, such as the evil empire. As I have over the years attended meetings, the city council meetings, I too have arrived at various titles for our local government and city. How about rezone, or developer's delight, or MNDs, all right? catchy titles. I'm going to skip on. What about thoughtfully and patiently developing an area and not just approving one project after another without thought to total impact of all projects combined? And I will close my letter to the editor with this. What is the present City Council protecting and saving? The poor planning by this city now has officials applying for a permit to encroach upon Stonelake Refuge. So I joined in on this planning, on the general plan update process, and the only thing I'm getting out of this was that I am the first comment on attachment 2. And my drift has not changed in all the years that I've been doing this, and so now I'm going to read this. The meeting Monday night demonstrated to me again the policies of our city council are not matching that of the residents. I feel bad for the people living in the Triangle area who are not protected by any land use policies with past and present land use decisions led by Ms. Rezone and Mr. General Plan Amendment. What happened to the days when land development was speculative and business people took risks, or that zoning and land use maps really meant something? I don't think it's changed. And then I shared with you, and I was encouraged not to, but I'm pretty proud of her. I share with you a cartoon that my 20-year-old daughter drew. I wasn't able to attend one of the LAFCO hearings downtown when our application, the first sphere of influence application, was submitted. My daughter at that particular time had moved downtown. So I asked her to go to the meeting for me and take some notes. And she did take a few notes, but she drew this. And actually, it kind of breaks my heart that we cannot work as a community and that people can come in here and tell us what kind of city we want. And the Working Industry Group has done that very well with this new general plan update. Thank you.
Kathy Engel, followed by Cindy Kanemoto.
Hi, thank you for letting us talk here tonight. I'm a resident of Stonelake. I've lived there for 17 years. I'm also a small business owner. I'm very concerned that there are changes. Actually, what I've seen is a medical district, and with a Stonelake Village that's proposed. We have heard nothing of this. The medical district looks like it's going to completely tear out everything that is in the whole Stonelake area. That would be on both sides of Elk Grove Boulevard, right before I-5. It looks like that is the long-term plan with resident housing. Looks like they're trying to change some RD, some commercial, light commercial, to RD25 to house their students. And the problem with that is it's supposed to bring jobs to Elk Grove. 24,000 jobs, they said. But that number wasn't right. It was 1,400 jobs, which is a big difference. So the city, to their credit, changed their press release to reflect the actual numbers. When people decide things in the community, if it's good for the whole community, they have to know the right information, or they can't make a decision whether they're for or against something. And if they think 24,000 jobs is worth displacing all of the businesses in Stonelake Landing, maybe they wouldn't think that if there were only 1,400 jobs. There's another problem that they do not have a track record at all. This is a person who, to our knowledge, was a pharmacist 5 years ago, and then he built a pharmacy school, a medical school, and now a hospital. That's a lot to do, and he claims that he can do it faster than Kaiser, who's been doing this for a long time. That concerns, I think, everybody in Elk Grove because, again, we don't want another ghost mall. Do I have more time? I don't know.
Yes.
So I would like to, there are missing minutes and video from the 2017 retreat of the City Council. So nobody was able to even go back and look at that and see when all of these decisions were made and when this was all discussed. So that's an issue too for me because it should be on there and I don't know where it is. And the last thing is I want to object to any changes in the 5.3A that would change any land use or zoning in that whole area over there by Stonelake, whether Stonelake Landing, across where Original Pete's and all of that area over there. Do I have to be more specific than that?
No.
Okay.
That'd be fine.
Awesome. Thank you.
I would ask, though, are you able to see lights from where you're at the podium? Are they in front of you?
Oh, I do see a yellow light
Oh,
now.
okay,
I have
great.
26 seconds, but I'm done.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
Thank you. I just want to make sure it was working. We had a misstep earlier. And it does give me an opportunity to say that occasionally people will come up and they'll thank us for an opportunity to speak. You know, that's our obligation. It's your right. No need to thank us for listening to you. That's our obligation. And our next speaker is Cindy Kanemoto.
Good evening, Commission members. Again, I am Cindy Kanemoto, and I'm here tonight to state opposition once again to the proposed hospital plan for Elk Grove Boulevard and West Huron Drive. I feel it's important for us to revisit the community vision for Elk Grove. Each of you as Commission members are held accountable to consider the adopted vision, a vision that shares the values of our community and what we want in our future. This vision represents the ideal condition of a community. You can see by the folks here tonight that the Stonelake neighborhood and the surrounding area is a community of involved, caring residents. We share many of the values and supporting principles of your general plan. Specifically, in one of the supporting principles, it states that existing small businesses are protected even as we invite in new businesses and different economic opportunities. This is a principle that you have adopted as one that you will look at as we are, expanding our city. My hope is that you will fully embrace this principle as you are presented with the application and plans to build a hospital near an established residential community, National Wildlife Preserve, and the result of which will uproot established small businesses. The hospital plan does not align with this principle or vision stated in the general plan. Quite the opposite. It is out of alignment. Further, the principle of community identity includes the following statement. All of our neighborhoods are built around our top-notch parks and schools. Preservation and change in our neighborhoods are guided by values of diversity, neighborly spirit, and small-town character. A hospital project this size does not fit in our neighborhood, and it does not align with this principle. This type of hospital is better suited away from established residential communities in order to protect our neighborly spirit and small-town character. In closing, I live 2 blocks from the proposed hospital site. I am concerned the phased project will be a mess as it relates to parking. Right now, the school cannot even accommodate the students for parking, and they are beginning to encroach upon our neighborhood. The plan calls for phase 1 to be the construction of a large hospital build, so you can imagine how much parking that would require. It is not until phase 2 that they are planning to build 2 5-story parking structures. This will provide unwanted traffic, noise, and foot traffic into our quiet community. Please consider all of this as this project is presented to you for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak on items that are not on the agenda? No one coming forward. We'll close the public comment period.